Welcome to Play With It with Cass Out. Now, by living out loud, I personally define it for the context of the show. Living out loud refers to basically being transparent, living your life authentically, not hiding things, not trying to hide people, not trying to hide your relationship. Doesn't mean that you're flamboyant, it just simply means that you're not hiding. Know your difference. There are many reasons that people live out loud, yesterday we talked about living in the closet. People who don't want to live out loud. Naturally, who would not be attracted to people of such? Well, let's retract that. They may be attracted to people who live out loud, but they're not participated in that energy because they have something to hide. There are people who live out loud who used to be in the closet. Sometimes as we grow, as we age, as we become more wise, we let go of closeted ways and we become more freer with ourselves as we ripen, you know. Especially a lot of seniors. Seniors say what the fuck they want to say, do what the fuck they want to say. They have this freedom, a lot of them, and that hit somewhere in that age where it's, you know, let me just do me. Fuck it. I've done enough for the people telling me what the fuck to do, or I've heard everybody's advice my whole life and took everybody's advice and never listened to myself. That's a type of living out loud as well, you know. Like I said, there's the other type of living out loud that can come from any age, which comes from realizing that you only live once, at least in this form and flesh, because I don't hear us all running around like we knew each other in the sense of how we live today. You know, I'm not going to get into reincarnation and all that other shit right now, but that's what we're talking about here. You want to live out loud because you want to be authentic to yourself. You want to fully enjoy this experience that you have on this planet, as it is, as it feels intention wise for you, because it's different for all of us. Living out loud can relate to your mission, what you think your calling is. You may defy everything that is offered to you because something in you is ticking and telling you to do something that everybody else is telling you not to do. That's another form of living out loud. Some people live out loud in a form of bucket list style and everything they do. I feel like jumping out of a plane. I'm going to do it. I want to go skiing. I want to climb a mountain. That's another type of living out loud. So I encourage y'all out there, as you're watching these shows and hearing these terms, don't lock it to what I'm saying. For Pete's sake, we've already discussed that I don't know everything. None of us do. You add us all together, we probably still don't know a dent of what the fuck reality is on this planet. So while you out there dating and you're asking these questions and you're using these terms, remember they have, people may be answering yes and no based on what they believe the term will mean. And it might not be the same as the last person you were on a date with. So try to get in the habit of not just talking about terms, but describing the context of what you're talking about to make sure you're on the same playing field so you don't miss an opportunity for one due to miscommunication, and you also don't have unneeded opportunities and wastes of time because you think you're on the same page with someone and you're not. So we're talking about dating a person who's living out loud. There's sometimes things that can come with that can surprise you when you're dating someone that's really free, and that's how we're going to talk about this. A person that's really free, a person who's really comfortable in his or her skin, a person who, whatever they feel, they're whimsical. They're not afraid to dance in the street. Some people out here are really shy and they feel really uncomfortable around people who live out loud. So have that conversation with people and find out what type of energies they're carrying. You know, some people may seem like they have high energy, but they may be in the closet. So you can't even go on that. It's a conversation that's needed, out there dating one. What makes you tick? Like, Are you an extrovert, an introvert? Are you actionable type of person? Do you acquiesce a lot? Find out. There are questions to ask to find out what type of energy you're with. Ask them, do you live out loud? And if they say yes, what does that mean to you? Don't assume you know what it means. Ask, what does it assume to you? What does it mean to you? You know? People who live out loud, be prepared to sometimes maybe be uncomfortable with them. Are you willing to date someone who will just kiss you in the middle of nowhere, regardless of sexuality, race, religion? Are you comfortable with someone who'll just grab your hand and run down the street? Somebody who will get upset and show it to you in that moment. Living out loud can come with a lot of things. Um, as I mentioned, it can be a whimsical behavior almost, eh, almost like a child. You're not caring about what's happening around you because you're just enjoying and living your life. Are you prepared to be in a type of energy like that? Some people wish for that, but they don't want to participate in it. Some people enjoy watching it with other couples and, they long for it to some degree, but when presented with it, they're not ready for it. So think about, what type of personality you really want to date in regards to that. Are you ready to date someone who truly lives out loud? And to the other side, if you're a person who's out loud, be prepared to make some people uncomfortable. That is one of the things that happens. I've been in situations with people who lived out loud and they've done things where I'm like, whoa, because I wasn't ready for that moment, not judging them, or it's like, oh, I wouldn't do that, or something that affects you and you may find yourself blushing, or oh shit, everybody's watching, or I can't believe we're doing this. That's what I'm talking about, that living out loud, being okay with being yourself regardless of what people are thinking. It can be a very difficult journey for people because there are people out here who abuse people who live out loud. I'm okay skipping at 56 down the street at 56 years old. I'm okay falling and laughing and getting up, at 32. I'm okay with starting school again at 62 and everybody else in the class is 11 because that's my comprehension level. That's what I'm talking about with living out loud, and if you're one of those people, I personally commend you. I think it's a beautiful thing to live in your authentic spirit. For some people not to be comfortable with that. Somebody to say, okay, I can't date you because your colors are too bright. It's simple shit like you see it on fucking shows today. Your colors are too bright. Your clothes don't match mine, Be prepared. Say, your living out loud is too much for them. Your personality is too bright. You're too flamboyant, you're too obvious, or you're all of those things that make you strong and out loud. Be prepared to make people uncomfortable and work to not feel uncomfortable in yourself. Hope that you are out loud enough that you feel it and you can live safely, regardless of what it is. Like I said, whether you want to put on a rainbow or skip down the street. It shouldn't matter as long as you're being authentic to yourself and having fun. But unfortunately, difference does matter. And a lot of people do get unnerved by such behavior. Some of these people out here who are living out loud can bring some of these other people into that space. It's a beautiful place to be. Uh, I recently produced a song named We're the Playgrounds, and it speaks to that. People have turn that smile into a stone face, Where are all the smiles, the joy of living out loud, we hide within ourselves as people begin to watch us and rate us and make us feel certain types of way where we can't show our whole selves. So again, as I wrap this up, I'm gonna drill that in. I applaud people who live out loud. It's a tremendous goal, and I think it's a tough journey. I speak for myself as well. You know, I've transformed a great deal in the last decade, from a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer, and a lot of asking the higher powers to help me be true to my design as it relates to my physical, my mental, my spiritual, and the things that I do on this planet. So I definitely can connect, and I encourage anybody feels caught, lost, boxed, unsafe, unsure to take baby steps to discover yourself and empower yourself to enjoy your journey. I'm not going to say be yourself. That sounds so tricky the older I get. You know, we evolve. When people tell me, say I don't, right? I hope I never do because I hope you're always evolving. And if you're always evolving, your mind is going to change. It's going to expand. It's going to drop things out. You know, you're going to take on new ideology. Things are going to happen that when you're in constant rotation. So someone should never truly know you, and to me, that's a part of living out loud. And if you can go out on a date and find people like this, even if they're not your match, hopefully you can have some type of friendship. Because I personally think they're far and few in between compared to all of the people out here who are living in some type of closet. May it be self-inflicted, like I said, or from peers, family, classism, situations, incentives, racism, religion, etc. And there's no need to keep this for 30 minutes because I don't have 30 minutes of conversation on this. So I'm going to wish you all a good day and a good night. This has been Cast Out.